Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Guys, hope you're ready to go back to the Thunderdome. It's time to roast something. No, I'm just kidding. Brad, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm good. I'm surprised you knew it was me. I had my disguise on. But I'm here.
It's Clark Kent, everybody.
Yeah. Again, one of my small joys in life every week is like when we come into Riverside, which is what we use to record the podcast. I always put like a random nickname in the bottom corner. Today it's Brad Kent, just like Clark Kent. You know, get it? Because I have my glasses on. Everybody. I have
for the audio only listeners. They're like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Right. Yeah. Contact wear 99% of the time, but I just went glasses for a bit to give the eyes a break. I've just felt that the eyes needed a break. So, week's been good. Just pretty productive week. We got a lot of stuff, a lot of moving pieces. We're coming up on planning for sub boxes for the rest of the year, USCGC Tour Championship, Hyzer Club Championship, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So like all that's coming down the pike. So it's just like kind of go time. So just feeling like a little like prepared this year, which is good. Going to kind of keep that like being a little bit ahead. Hopefully, fingers crossed. It won't happen. It'll be down to the last minute as always. But right now, I'm going to say we're gonna keep that up. So no, pretty excited. What about you, Robbie? How's the disc golf life? I haven't heard for a minute. Like I know you've been doing a lot of work on your off the tee and some distance work.
Yeah, it's interesting. It comes and goes. So I played last Thursday, and when I played last Thursday, I was kind of shocked at how clean things were coming out. Like I was throwing pretty far. Things felt really good. And it came down to just like slowing down. So I think right now I kind of made a big push to the creator challenge and then kind of backed off a little bit and just haven't had as much time to get out there and really be grinding in form work or anything like that. So that and the heat has really slowed things down dramatically. Like it's hard to be like, hey, let me go spend an hour and a half throwing in my backyard into a net when it's like 98 degrees, 100% humidity outside, because that feels awful. So yeah, it's felt really good. I think that there are moments. The game feels good enough that I've literally considered like, hey, Lindsay, do you feel comfortable watching little guy? And I might go play like a tournament and things like that. But then I think about I haven't been working on it as consistently, and therefore I think that I would be frustrated. It's not for me. I understand that the people out there that can just not practice at all and then head into an event and just like that's a great thing for them. Not it for me, but I enjoy a nice casual round with friends. So it's been good. We've been going to a bunch of different courses, so things are feeling good. I definitely have that itch though of I feel like a lot of times when Clint and I are working on goals, it's always like, all right, we're going to do this. We have 45 days to try to hammer this in. So I just have to like put my nose to the grindstone and go real fast. And so I'm just thinking in a world of, all right, it's August. I want to throw over the wall at All-Stars next year.
Yeah.
That's like a dream. I want to throw over the wall on a backhand. So that is late January, early February. All right, Clint, we have 5 months. Here's where we're at. What's the road type deal? So it should be a really good time.
I want to hit the wall. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I guess I've not hit the wall on a backhand, so that should be the correct goal. But once again, we got 5 months, so I'm like, let's just send it, dude.
Yeah,
I would love to step up and not be, I'm throwing forehand because I don't want to embarrass myself today. So I also am just hoping that somehow the format changes this year, that I actually get to do the accuracy competition.
Yeah, that's always confusing to me, but
because 3 years of doing this. And I've done different variations of the putting contest every year.
Well, you are the putting guy. Guy.
It's true. It's true. Although Kyle took me down last year, so
yeah, he's
tough. I'm not the Circle 2 putting guy. Apparently, I got to work on that.
Right, I hear that. So, well, I'm excited because we get to go back to normal format. Well, I guess not normal format, our updated format this week. Kind of on the theme of everything getting kind of back to normal. We're getting things rolling. So I'm excited to jump into the questions today, Robbie. So let's jump.
I did want to shout out a couple of the comments from last week's episode because they were funny.
Great.
So
They're great. Yeah.
I'll tell you, we got off the episode and Brad and I just kind of looked at each other like, I hope people like that because it was definitely different than anything we've done before. So we appreciate the positive feedback. And, obviously had some other people like Broza and Attila who were just not here for it. So tough, but that's fine. It was a one-off episode. Mm-hmm. So thankfully, if you're still with us, welcome back to the norm. But yeah, a couple of comments. Stan Hyzer DG commented, disc golf, Robbie C1, ABB 0, roasting, Robbie C0, ABB 1. Got to be honest about it.
That's funny. I didn't know I would be good at it, but here we are.
Hey, absolutely crushed it. So yeah, I had a really good time with that. I thought it was really well done. The guy who said that he does carry ibuprofen in his bag.
Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. And then Wyatt really nailing it was like, Wyatt here kind of upset that most of the bag talking was about the koi that I keep rolled up at the bottom of my butter pouch.
That's very funny.
Sorry, man. It happens. But
well, don't put it in your bag and you can't get roasted. That's all I got to say.
Exactly. So jumping into the questions, we've got Chris coming in with, I'm not super familiar with ESP plastic, but the little experience he has is either super stiff or just the right amount of flex. However, he can't seem to find an annex that is an onyx. Always get messed up there. Yeah. Whenever you read it, like if you don't have your disc golf brain on, Correct. You read that and even the one in my bag is only comfortable to throw in the summer. Can't even bag it in the winter because it's legit painful to throw. Is that normal for the Onyx, or has he just been unfortunate? Typically, like Star Infusion type plastics. Mm-hmm. Okay, so like those, ESPs. Mm-hmm. And then because they work in any round. Any alternative recommendations? Throws 280 to 330. Bag is currently capped at 10-speed discs.
So one thing I'll say, I think, as a whole, as a manufacturer, I feel like Discraft's plastic's extremely consistent, except ESP. At least that's just my thoughts and feelings on it. And I will say there's like, I don't know. To me, it's like, definitely there's like a stiff version that tends to be like slick. And then there's a like little bit more gummy version that has a little bit of grip. Is that your experience too, Robbie, or no?
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. I was actually talking about this in my Patreon the other day, is that I think that ESP and Z have both been somewhat reinvented over the last year. Like they're just a little bit different. And so normally I would say Big Z is their most inconsistent plastic because Big Z is their merge of Z and ESP. Yeah. So it's like if you bought a Big Z Vulture from 4 years ago, there's no shot that that's going to feel the same as a Big Z Vulture that gets released today. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. And then, so my like alternative plastic recommendation for Chris would be, I think Big Z was, because they do have Big Z Onyx now. So maybe try that. Not to my knowledge, they don't have, I don't think they have, I haven't seen TI, but I think you would like TI plastic. Personally.
Yeah, I would agree. I think TI definitely has the nice feel of ESP, but has a little bit of stiffness to it. TI is, I think, they're one of their most slept on plastics.
It's so good
because it's not usually like super beautiful. If that makes sense, like it doesn't look bad. I don't want to say that, but it's not a jawbreaker Z, right? Yeah. Where you're just enjoying the sheer beauty of it. Normally it's nice and shiny, has a great grip to it, but I just feel like a lot of people just don't touch TI.
And Chris says his bag's capped at 10-speed discs. I mean, how do you like the Vulture as a recommendation for him?
So I think the Vulture is actually not a bad recommendation at all. If you it's going to be more overstable than your Onyx. I was actually going to leave Discraft and hit Trilogy, because I've got a video coming out on my channel today on a disc that is, just could be perfect for this if you're wanting a little more. And I think it's the sweep.
Sweep's great. Yeah.
Sweep is it's a 9-speed, I think, technically, but flies. I did it in comparison to the trail, which I think is one of the farthest flying 10 speeds on the market. And the sweep was like a trail OS.
Yeah. 9.6 negative 0.52.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to, before I put my foot in my mouth, I thought you were going to recommend an escape. That's where I thought you were going.
Yeah, a little slower for this slot if he's looking for, because I would imagine the Onyx, if his bag's capped at 10 speeds, the Onyx is probably his distance driver type deal. Yeah. Although, I mean, the Escape would still be really good if you're throwing 280 to 330.
Yeah, it's a 9-speed, Escape, 9.5, negative 1.2 might be.
Supreme Escape, also I've heard really, really good things about. I think it's slightly different than the traditional Escape.
Yeah.
Like, I think it actually had to get PDJ approved again because it's that different. But yeah, I think you can go a lot of different routes there in that slot.
Yeah.
Escape's really good.
There's a lot of good. Yeah.
The Vandal is a more on the understable side, but the Vandal's another 9-speed that goes crazy far. I'll tell you, you know what? I'll throw a disc out there that is also from a company that we've talked about before, doesn't get a lot of love, the Stag.
Oh, that is a good disc that I never throw.
8-speed. It's like 8.6 minus probably 2.1 or something like that.
Minus 1.2.
Yeah, there you go. So the Stag is filthy. And the person who, he doesn't make a lot of disc golf content anymore, but the person who, if you want to see a Stag highlight reel, go to Molt. Michael Holt. He was on Team DD for a long time, and he threw a Stag at the Creator Cup. Molt was throwing a Stag all over our faces. So go check it out. It's silly what a Stag can do for an 8-speed. Really, really good. All right. Ben from Ontario. I have a Crave, a Stalker, and a Firebird in my fairway slots.
Okay.
Crave, Stalker, Firebird. Okay, locked in. I find when I throw my Crave too hard, I turn it over, and the Stalker, I can't really turn, but it goes straight. What should I put in that missing fairway slot that's a little understable, but I don't have to worry about throwing hard and burning over? He throws 380 to 400 on a backhand and 300 to 325 on a forehand. So we're looking for something between the Crave and the Stalker. That's a tight slot.
You know, I mean, my recommendation is what I throw for that slot, which is a E-Duke.
Okay.
Because the E-Duke will turn a little bit for me, but still has an overstable finish, which I've not really been able to find like a lot of stuff. Or, I almost want to say Evader, but I think it's going to be a similar flight to the Stalker for them probably.
Yeah, in my mind, I feel like the Crave's got to go, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Because it's just, like you're saying that you can get the, what is it? Go straight. Let's see. Crave. Too hard, you turn it over. So if you throw the Crave too hard, it turns over. So I'd imagine it's really straight flyer for you. So I would get rid, what I would do here, Benjamin, I would get rid of the Crave, and I would put something that can be thrown hard on Hyzer that's going to stand up and turn. A Cicada is a really good example of this. Yep. If you watch the Bogey Bros did their course conquest attempt, I think it was this week. It was this week or last week, and it was their last attempt they did at Independence on hole 17. You can go ahead and scrub all the way there. Spoiler alert, they don't get it. And so they get a little match. What I really appreciate how they've spun that series, Brad, is that if they fail the course conquest side, they do a match against each other to close out the video since they have to walk back to the parking lot.
Right. That's really
and
fun.
then we get to ban a Molt from the loser's bag. Right. And so Hunter throws a Cicada basically on Spike Hyzer angle at 17 at Independence, which for those who don't know the course is essentially like he's just trying to throw it straight in the water.
Right.
Because once you clear the gap, there's just a lake to your left. And it comes out of his hand. And I could feel Connor looking at him like, what are you doing?
Right.
And Trevor Trevor literally goes, uh-oh. And then it stands up and it flips to flat and even starts turning a little bit. And
Right.
Hunter was like, yeah, my cicada's really flippy at this point. So, yeah, like cicada could be really good in that slot. And then what I would do is I would just get something that's even more understable than a cicada. Like I would get something that's a -2/1, like a rhythm. If you go from your crave to a rhythm, it will actually turn automatically, Benjamin. And that way you have that slot when you need just a huge turnover. Because I know that my friend Bo, who throws a little further than you do on your backhand and has a massive forehand, he's on team MVP and he bags a rhythm. So it's definitely still got use in the 450 to 500 foot arm.
For sure. Yeah.
So
I just placed an order, a big MVP order, and they had rhythms back on the order form. I was very excited because I kind of forgot about how good they actually are.
Yeah, it's a sneaky good disc. I very much enjoy it, especially fission rhythms. Oof. Fission rhythms go so far, dude. It's crazy. Yeah. Ken. It's literally Ken.
Love it.
Hey, Robbie, like some mid-range advice for mid-ranges. Favorite mid is the Lion. Have you thrown the Lion, Brad?
It's been a long time. I've felt a bunch of them though. We used to stock them. We don't anymore.
Yeah, side story is that when the Lion got released, I was in college, and Tom Monroe, PDGA number 33, is solid. At RIP. He sat in a van at our local course, vending discs out of his van. And so Discraft and Innova would send discs to Tom so he could sell them. And
the real grind, you know.
Tom gets Lions, and we roll up, and he's like, guys, do you want the straightest, furthest flying mid-range that Innova's ever released? And a bunch of college kids were like, yeah, we do. And so he's like, all right, here you go, $25. And we're like, yeah. So we and this was back in mid 2010s. So, I mean, we're shelling out money to Tom for the premium. And he's like, it's super straight, guys. You're never going to find a straighter mid out of the whole lineup. We're like, awesome. So our noodle arms, we throw it, and it just fades on it. I mean, might as well have been like a gator.
Right.
And we're like, but we're too embarrassed to like tell Tom that it didn't do what we thought. We're like, obviously we're the problem. So we just played with it for a little while. So the Lion and I have a special relationship. When I went to Team Innova, I was trying to not be the rock guy at Team Innova. So I actually bagged Lions for a small time when I was at Team Innova.
That's so funny.
So, because they did end up actually being straight, but they still have fade. Anyways, I really like them in DX. Start neutral and become very controllable, flippy with a huge amount of wear. Problem is, Halo Lions and Champ Lions are just not stable enough between the Champ Cayman and a fresh Halo Lion. I've tried Rock 3s, not much more stable, uncomfortable. Bang. EMAC Truths, too neutral. Definitely agree. The Infinite Raw, unfamiliar. And a Rock X3. The one I got flew like a regular Rock 3. That's fascinating to me. But we'll get back there. Just can't seem to find a disc that doesn't either mimic a Pyro, a Halo Lion, or is just uncomfortable. I did have a Pyro at one point that was perfect, but I lost it, and the two new ones I tried basically flying like my Cayman. Am I looking for something that doesn't exist? Is this a form issue potentially? So, long story, and Brad, this is a slot that I know we have talked about many times on the show.
Yes.
We're looking for something that isn't super overstable, like a Quake or like a certain Quake or a Cayman or a Justice, but we want it to be more stable than like the straight flying. So I'm gonna list 3, and then Brad, you go off. Okay,
listening.
The Verdict.
Okay,
you talk about how a EMAC Truth is too neutral. The Verdict is literally an EMAC OS, like an EMAC Truth OS. So Verdict, really good flyer. I'm going to stay in Trilogy for one more, and I'm going to say the Trust. Also, very, very good in this slot because it's going to have fade, it's going to have a hookup, it's going to hold that there, and it's not going to be as overstable as maybe a halo. You keep talking about these halo lions that are like fresh, but how long are they holding that freshness? I think that's
right.
questionable. And then the third one that I'm going to say as my final complicated answer, and our guy Nate McMurray is going to completely agree with this because in my Discord, he is one of the biggest pastors and missionaries of this mold and how it does everything. And it is the Quake.
Yeah.
Because the thing about a Quake is that there are so many Quakes out there. You can find, there is a legitimate world that from the neutral side of your bag to the extreme overstable side, the only disc you bag is Quakes. Like it's just, there are straight Quakes, there are flippy Quakes, there are like the Quake that I'm using is a Ledgestone run that is silly overstable.
Yeah.
Like there are enough runs of Quakes out there. And let me tell you, there are enough DGA super fans.
Yes.
That work is already done for you. You want to tell them what slot you're looking for, they'll tell you what run, what color, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It is a fascinating world
and it's
talking to
and
DGA
it has
super
base
fans.
plastic, which is awesome.
Yeah. So those are my three. Brad, fire off.
Reactor.
What have you loved here?
Reactor.
Yeah.
How do you feel with the Reactor? I also think Eternal Plastic Mustang might be fun to try. Again, I don't know if it has like I wouldn't call it overstable, but it's definitely like pretty stable for like a alleged straight mid-range. And then a third recommendation I'm like a little struggling with, but I think try a Buzz OS.
I like that a lot.
So there's a lot of options there. Again, this is one of those slots that I've struggled with personally because I don't know. I really need to try the Reactor. I think the Reactor's always been the disc. I'm just trying not to go all MVP mid-ranges. Is what I'm trying to avoid.
They're so good though, dude.
I know.
They're so
I know
good.
they are. That's the problem. And so I think what I'm going to end up doing is just grabbing a baseline Quake and I don't have the slot anyway right now. Eventually I will once I hit enough trees, which will probably take 2 or 3 rounds probably. But yeah, I think those are good. And I think you're also going to have to like not expect so much out of one disc in that slot because you're going to have to either work with something maybe a little bit more stable than you want or a little less stable than you want and change kind of like how you throw it, I think. Yeah. So I think like my Quake, for example, is pretty overstable, obviously, but like in my mind, it's very overstable, probably more overstable than it is. And then I just like do silly things with it, like release it on a bunch of Hyzer, you know what I mean? So like, I think we got to do a little bit of that too. There's a lot of slots there's not going to be a perfect disc for because we are an imperfect machine. Yeah.
And I'm going to give 2 more recommendations that have popped into my head. One of them, he would be very upset if we didn't say it. The Canyon.
Oh,
works really well in this slot. The Canyon, phenomenal flyer in that slot. Prodigy, I think the M2 is the disc that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think so.
Also flies really well here. So this mold exists in a lot of places. And to piggyback, wrapping up Kinkin's question. So Brad nailed it, and that like working a disc into this slot is really good because if you find a disc, like I think you need to find another Rock X3 because I do believe the Rock X3, if you like the feel of the Lion, and even if you're okay with the feel of the Rock in your hand, that's where I landed when I was on Team Innova, staying inside their lineup, is I just went and found Champ Rock X3s that were plenty overstable. But if you're looking for something that's going to hold straight and then have this guaranteed fade, the hard part about that was the problem I had with the EMAC Truth, is that all the like nice EMAC Truths that I found that did that, did it for like 3 to 4 weeks. And then they lost that touch of fade. So when you try to find a disc that doesn't have the dumpiness and overstability of a overstable Quake or a Pyro or things like that, you're going to lean on it because that's a really great flight. And because you lean into it, that's going to make it lose that stability faster because you're just throwing it more. Mm-hmm. So I think if that's something you want, then find something that is similar to the pyro and then just take out all your other mids for a little bit and just use that. And I promise you, it's going to find its way there really, really fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's good advice for not just that slot, a lot of different slots.
Yeah, like I took out most of my mids except for a certain Dune that I'm trying to get really seasoned, and it's working out fantastic. Mm-hmm. But you know, if I wanted that slot right off the shelf, Buzz SS. Mm-hmm. It's Aceathon still happening. They have until next weekend.
We extended it because of the sellout, and we did another pre-order, so it probably is going to be through all of August.
Okay, sick. I've still got time to get my ace, everybody.
Yep.
I'm getting a package. I'm gonna go meet the bogey. No, I can't win. I can't win the package. Plus, you guys are gonna have way cooler aces than mine. Mine's gonna be like 100-foot jump putt.
Yeah.
With the Innova FD being so sought out, with the Innova FD being the sought out FD, have you guys had any experience with the Dark Rebel? Supposedly the old Innova FD mold. Any other molds that you have experienced this, or any other molds that you have experienced this with?
I think they're just asking, are there any other like old molds that are like renamed? Like, because I mean, Innova has that whole lineup, right? Like what, the Dark Rebel, I think
Phantom Sword's
the PD, right?
Yeah.
And then what was
they just released the actual MD3. Because I remember Hunter has the MD3 banned from his bag for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And then he was like, but this is a different mold. Can I get this back in the bag?
I mean, it's true. That would be very funny. I'm looking. Yeah,
but I'm not an FD lover. Brad has enough love for the FD that he can fill both of our voids.
Yeah, that's
so I'm going to defer to you on this one, my man.
Yeah, I really probably should have thrown it, but I haven't. I still have an Innova FD, and I just kind of like in my mind just said that's dead, so go with the new FD. I guess maybe that's the wrong way to look at it.
No.
I do think I have one on my shelf. I tell you what, I feel like I should know the answer to that as an FD lover. That's on me. So I'm just going to put that to the side and say, hey, I'm going to go throw that and let you know. I think that's a fair, but I don't really have any input. I don't have any input with any of those old Innova, like Discmania molds, like remakes or rebrands or whatever you want to call them. So that might be something fun. I can't even find them on the factory store right now, to be honest with you. So I wonder if they're going to stop producing those.
Yeah.
So, but now that's my only experience. I guess the only other like quote unquote they're on sale too. So I'm guessing they're getting rid of them. Anyway.
Signs are not pointing in a good way for you, mystery
guy. Just go to the regular FD. You're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah, go to the stock one.
Yeah, they're really good. Especially, I like the S line. I feel like compared to that old Innova like S line FD that I had, they fly very similar. So I don't think it's like a matter of one so much better than the other or so much different than the other. Obviously, they're sought after. I think just because of the cool factor, not really because of the flight, as far as from an amateur perspective, right? I mean, I may not notice the difference. Robbie, you might throw them and notice a big difference, but I'll try to get my hands on one. Like I said, I think I have one. I do want to throw them side by side and kind of see what that really looks like. That might be fun to do because I have like pretty much an FD of every plastic that I think is around. So that would be fun to throw them all together and maybe do a little science experiment for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be great. Okay, Deshaun, and this will be an interesting one as well because I feel like there are a few people who don't work at a factory who get to handle and like touch as many discs as y'all get to touch. So Deshaun asks, how can you tell if you get a bad run of a disc? I've had a trail since Christmas, and it's nothing like what the entire internet says the trail is. Recently got a second trail because I didn't want to give up on the new cool mold, and it flies exactly like what people describe the trail to be. And I'm so happy I gave it a second chance. So, how can you tell if you got a bad run of a disc? The tough part is you kind of got to throw it. I think you got to throw it over several days, like over a decent period of time if you feel like it's off, because there could just be, you could be sick and like you're just not throwing well. And if you're not throwing well, then you're not going to get the flight you're looking for out of it. But another thing that I find is really helpful is, let me tell you, a group of people that wants to give you their opinion at all times, not just podcasters, because we are here doing this. Disc golfers in general. Yeah. Just go to your local course and stand on hole 1 and be like, hey, I think I've got a bad run of a disc. Have you ever thrown a blank before? And someone's going to tell you, oh, yeah. And then hand them that mold and have them throw it and see what they think. It's kind of crowdsourcing. There are subtle differences. I know you can tell with parting lines and things like that of, okay, if the parting line's really high, that's going to affect the flight in a certain way. If it's low, so you can see some of that's going to affect it. But most of the time it's just going to come down to throwing it. And if enough people on the internet are describing a disc a certain way, it probably flies that way.
Yeah, that my advice or feedback is going to be the same. I think it's disc golf is one of those things, like a lot of sports are like this that involve equipment, I guess, where you rely on the equipment to do the work or the thing that you're doing, right? Like I am not ever going to throw like Robbie. I'm not the same height. I'm not the same weight. My arms are not the same length. My legs are not the same length. We don't have the same bone density. We don't have the same muscle mass. Like Robbie and I are going to throw. If I handed Robbie the same disc, if I handed Robbie this disc in my hand, he and I are going to throw this completely different from both pre-throw, and it's going to react post-throw completely different. So I think you have to just really gauge yourself first. And like to Robbie's point, if you're hearing from a majority of people the trail is a really great disc and it does this for them, that's what that disc is designed to do. And that's where the flight numbers are important, because it gives you like a roadmap basically of what this disc is supposed to do, just generically. And anything it's kind of doing other than that is probably on you. Now, you can get bad runs, right? But totally. Unless the disc is damaged, though, it should be relatively close, right? We were talking about the Quake earlier. There's certain runs of Quake that are more overstable, certain that are understable, but they're all going to kind of be like a Quake, right?
Correct.
So it's just going to be a matter, like if you throw a trail and everyone's saying, oh, trail unlocks easy distance, and it flips up and turns a little bit, but then it will come back. If you're throwing the trail and it's a roller, then that's on you. That's not the disc. If you throw a trail and it turns and like doesn't come back, it's probably a combo of you and the disc, right? Because you're still getting the distance, you're still getting the turn, but like that fade's not there. So you're either adjusting you or like, oh, maybe get a different way to the disc, maybe, whatever. Is it domey enough? Whatever. It's MVP, so there's not a lot of variable there. So I think you have to kind of like bad run with, unless it's a small company or someone, even like, not even, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but Jesse, right, who is a very small manufacturer, has the consistency. Like the way that the thing is made is an injection mold. Plastic does change a little bit, but not so much that it's not going to be recognizable. So
and they've got more variables going than most people do because of the fact that their plastic is coming
exactly.
in different.
They don't know what it is, right? Or they don't know where it came from or what it was, So I think,
and they still find consistency.
Yeah, bad runs very hard. I think just take that out of your mindset completely. You didn't get a bad run. Maybe you got one that's a little bit different, but it's probably more than likely how you're throwing it or how you're choosing to use it. Because the thing I will say with the trail that I had an issue. I had the same issue, Deshaun. You and I had the same thing where I'm like, I had the trail and I did not agree, but it wasn't the trail's fault. It was my fault. I was like I just thought I had to like heave ho on it, right? I was like, oh, it unlocked more distance, so I obviously have to throw it really hard, right? Wrong. You don't have to. It's the beauty of it. Like I can be smooth with that and get a lot of distance. And when I started realizing that and really paying attention to my angle in which I was throwing it on and my release angle, it's amazing how good that disc is for me now. I just had to learn it a little bit.
Yeah. Like I will say, I love the word of like bad run, getting that out of your head, because there are certainly runs that I can see where you say bad because it doesn't fly like what people want that mold to fly like. But there are runs that people are going to look for. Like there are going to be runs of really flippy trails that some people are like, that's the money run. Yeah. And for instance, like the green steel is in my bag, and it's one of the more overstable trails that you've ever seen in your life. I don't think it's a bad run. I love it. And I'm trying to hunt down more of that run because that's what I want out of that disc. Is I want it to have a little less natural turn to it so that I can throw it flat and get that turn going for me. So that's, yeah, it comes down to preference type and things like that. My friend Ryan, who throws the trail, he got a really lightweight one, because weight can also drastically affect the run of the disc. He had one that was like 165 grams and he could smash it, but then he just got to a point where it was turning too much on him. And so I was like, okay, cool, here. And I let him use one of my Heck Yeah, because we did Heck Yeah trails. I let him use a Heck Yeah trail, and he instantly solved, it was a max weight Heck Yeah trail, instantly solved his issues. And I was like, all right, Ryan, that's yours, dude, because like this is why we have these discs here, to throw them, and this is perfect for you. So just adjusting the weight also fixed everything about it.
Yeah, and the beauty about that other trail for him, if he chooses to do so, is that could now remain in his bag and be like, okay, well, I need a more controlled shot to get this turn, so I don't have to throw this as hard, and I can focus a little bit more on hitting my line, and that's still going to do that for him, and that's going to be a great disc, which is, I think that's the part of it. So, yeah, Deshaun, bad run at this point in time in disc golf isn't, I would say cosmetic defect, yes, it would be a bad run, right? Like, oh, this one has a lot of flashing on it, or this one all came out puddle top, right? Like, that would be different. But generically speaking, a bad run's not going to really happen.
Puddle tops, weird, deformities. Like, I think of, do you remember the Adder, when Nico LaCastro released the Adder with West Side discs? This was this was right after COVID, I think. And y'all probably got some, but they were like these spaceship looking discs that had this weird like center dome to them, but they were 14-speed drivers or something like that. I will go ahead and tell you that was a bad run. That's tough. But different runs. And once again, someone out there, whatever run you have, that's their money run.
Right.
So you just got to find the right person who's willing to pay the right price for it, because you found the gem. Luke from Dallas, I just hit my first ace after 7 years of playing a few weeks ago. How long did it take y'all for your first ace, and what disc did you do it with? I'm chuckling because it feels like I'm part of the One Up Club, but I'm going to pull it off the wall. And,
I got mine right here.
Yeah, you got yours, so I'll go grab mine while you're doing that.
Yeah, okay, so here's mine. I was playing for probably like 6 or 7 months, honestly. And here's the disc. It's a Collar Shift Banger GT. It's an old Ledgestone run. I did it at Kentwood Disc Golf Park in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was funny enough. It was actually, I was traveling for work at the time. I pulled up. I just found this random course on UDisc. I pulled up. I didn't warm up. I walked up to tee number 1. I threw this as my tee shot and aced the very first hole. And I was like, what the heck? Should I just quit here and just go home? Because I'm not, and I proceeded to have a terrible round. Because how do you come back, or how do you top that, I guess? But very cool. I still have it up here. I've only aced a couple times. I think I've only aced 3 times. So And that red one here behind me is an NV that I aced with Jason, and I did an ace challenge to try to beat the guys at Timbrook hole 18. And then I have an ace with my orange FD as well. But this is my very first one. So about 6 or 7 months after.
Yeah. It took me 8 years to get my first one. I started playing in 2012. And I got my first ace on May 12th, 2020. And I got it with an AVR X3 with the Santa Claus
nice.
stamp.
That's cool.
It was an AVR X3 because I played the first 7 years of disc golf without throwing any overstable putt and approach discs.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have zones. I didn't have pigs. I had nothing. And then I found the AVR X3, put it in the bag, was like, wow, this thing's a cheat code, because up to that point, my approaches were all XT Novas on a hammer. Was how I threw every single approach shot. It was a great time.
Yeah.
And so I found AVR X3, put one in the bag. It's actually in the upper corner by the blue disc. That AVR X3 was the first one I ever got. And I dyed it a Mandalorian dye that says "This is the way."
Perfect.
And when I finished, it started getting too straight. So I was like, oh, time to replace it. So I bought Santa Claus on a sale because it was a Christmas stamp, and I bought it in like April, put it in the bag. It was in my bag for like a week and a half, aced with it.
Nice.
And was like, well, that's coming out of the bag because it's my first ace. So
yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. But AVR X3, so then I had to buy another one, and it stayed in the bag and didn't do anything significant. So two molds that I don't have an ace with that I'm just shocked at. I have no polecat aces.
Or pigs.
I have a lot of pig aces. I will say. I've got a lot of pig aces. I don't have Precious Child once the seal was broken and I was no longer looking for an ace, they started pouring in.
Yeah, I think that's the key.
Like I have a tournament that I aced twice in the same tournament.
That's crazy.
It was a two round. Literally an ace put me in the playoff for the win. Incredible.
That's awesome.
It was my last MA1 tournament that I ever played. Downtown Throwdown. What a fun time.
Hey, and that's how you know. It was a question a couple weeks ago, like, when do you know it's time to move up? Probably when you ace 2 holes in the same tournament.
The layout's just too easy.
Yeah,
dude.
right.
Too easy. So congrats, Luke. That's awesome. As the grinder, I get it, man. That's awesome. Also, you got to let us know in the comments, Luke. What did you hit it with? Because you asked us what we hit it with.
I want to know.
And also, it was what shot? Sorry, I was pulling my disc off. Mine was like a super chip backhand Hyzer that I really thought was a million miles left. Like it came out of my hand and I didn't even see it go in the basket because I was like, well, that's way too far left. So I turned around, started walking back to my bag, and it hit the chains. So I didn't even see my first ace. Tough.
Yeah, that is a little tough. Where can I...
Dylan, Brad, I have a serious question for you.
Yikes.
Buckle up. I've been searching for a little bit now, looking on eBay and even Facebook Marketplace.
Uh-oh.
Even Craigslist. But he just can't find what he's looking for. So, ... When will Atlas disc golf bags be restocked? Been wanting to get my hands on one. Thanks for your time.
That's hilarious. Dylan, I want you to email me. I have a little stockpile here until we get our restock in about a month. They're on order. Dylan, if you're hearing this in the ether, you just text or you email me, brad@foundationdisc.com, and we'll arrange something for you, my friend. There you go. So the search
you can text
is over.
him. I'll give you his number right now, guys.
Yeah,
it's
right.
1 2 3.
Yeah. Rob's gonna dox me here in the bag.
No.
So yeah, happy to hook you up on that. Just let me know. We'll get an invoice sent over to you. Got 2 or 3 color options here. So just so you know.
I love it. Guys, all about it. I cannot wait for you guys to have the pro bag one day in the future. It's phenomenal. I love this bag so much.
Mine
The
smells
putter
right now.
pocket is phenomenal. And our like the Pioneer has a great putter pocket, and I think the Pioneer, having traveled with both, I prefer to travel with the Pioneer.
Right.
It's phenomenal. And then, but the putter pocket on the Pro Bag, like I shot a video comparing that comes out in a couple weeks of the Vessel, comparing the Vessel, a regular Zone, the Zone GT Battle Pack one, and a Pig. And I was like, oh, I can just throw all these in the putter pocket up top.
Yep.
Easy peasy. So works out really, really well. Unnamed person.
Well, before we get into this, can I ask a very off-topic question? Because
Please fire.
this has really like disturbed me. But have you ever? This may have never happened to you because maybe you're more responsible with your disc golf bag and your discs. But I have now left my Pioneer Pro Bag prototype. I still have prototype 2, Robbie. You have prototype 3. There's a prototype 4 out that we're working with now. But I keep leaving it in my truck bed and it gets downpoured on. And mine has a little stench to it right now. And I've like, do I just throw this away? Have you?
Yeah.
Is this ever an issue?
I have gotten my bag wet several times, but I've never like consistently over and most of the time I am the weirdo that my bag never stays in a car. So like and once again, I get that I'm the weirdo there. Like we're going on a trip in a couple weeks and we're going to mountains or a lake house up in Georgia. And so I'm like, oh man, Leo's going to have childcare. I'm going to bring a disc golf bag. And while everyone's lounging at the lake, I'm going to go film a couple videos real fast because I have someone watching the kid. That's great. But when we get there, I will literally take my disc golf bag with me into the lake house because I won't leave it in the car. So, unfortunately, I'm not
plastic.
the great answer here.
Well, I'll send you a picture, Robbie. My bag looks sad. It's like sun stained and faded because I let it get soaked. I'm like, I'll just leave it in the sun with all my discs and stuff in it, by the way. And my like UV flashlight and like, all the stuff, chalk bags, chalk ball, towels. So yeah, so it's like all faded and like sun blotchy because the other day it was like so wet in the back of my truck. I literally put it on my like zero turn and was like, it'll kind of cook here for a minute. So I'm like the worst in the world. But anyway, I got in my truck this morning and I was like, that because of my bags in my back seat right now. I'm like, this is a little ripe. It's a little ripe in here. It's from my disc golf bag. Anyway, don't do that. And if you have a bag and you're like, man, I really need to get a new one. Keep checking on Atlas over the next month. We're gonna be having a restock. We did something different this time, Robbie, than we've ever done. Usually we do like 2 to 3 colorways. I think I ordered 5 this time. So,
wow. Okay.
All of them. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Mr. Mr. or Mrs. Incognito.
We have 3 questions left, so we'll kind of rapid fire through them because I think we got a good episode length going for us. We had a good discussion today. I feel like we've been very casual, but we've also we've been moving. So hopefully this has been a good pace for you. Yeah. Incognito says, I've been playing for about 13 months. We should come up with comments. Let us know what is the name of the incognito person because we probably get 2 or 3 of them an episode. So
I think Incognita Burrito is this one.
Okay, I love it. So I've been playing for about 13 months from November 2024 till end of 2025. I was able to playing for 13 months and then I had to take some time off for a car accident. Okay. Last year they were throwing 350 feet on backhand. This year they can only get to about 310. What pre-round routines can I do to help get warmed up and stretched? I find I have a hard time getting a good brace, which is making me use more arm rather than having my whole body work together on longer distance drives. Please help. I miss ripping my drivers. Okay. Brad, do you have any thoughts here?
I do. I have a couple. Number one, if you're throwing 310 instead of 350, you're still doing good, buddy. Or ma'am, sir, madam. You're still doing well. So don't get down on yourself. Again, what is now is not what was, and that is just okay. So don't reach back. Don't be thinking about the 350. If you're still throwing 310, you're still going to tear up most things. You know what I mean? So as far as pre-round routine, so if you're talking about like, I guess is the brace he's talking about like his like foot, his plant foot, or what is
I would think so. Yeah.
So I'll give you kind of what I do, because I had a fractured tibia, and I had to like get back into like kind of trusting my brace leg. It was like a little bit of a mental thing to overcome. I think throwing like standstills made me, or getting confident in my standstills, like really let me focus on that motion without worrying about the step down, because I think the step down is what made me nervous, like I was going to lose footing or something. So I think like just warming up with some like practice, like standstill, but like if you having a chance to do full power standstills, I think it'll get your body like trusting that motion and like trusting your leg a little bit. I also just like to do some good old fashioned like stretches with my leg, especially like stretching my I don't know, I do like toe like flexes and stuff for like my ankle also, because I'm like just trying to warm up and trust the whole machine there of that leg. But I do think the plant foot full power like standstills really kind of gets my mind like, okay, you're good, like your foot's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I use, there's a warm-up routine on YouTube. Blitz has it. Blitz DG has a 10-minute warm-up routine. And if you get used to it and you learn what it's doing, like the video itself is 10 minutes. So once you know the routine, it does not take you 10 minutes. For me, two of the biggest things that I want to make sure I'm getting stretched properly before I get going, I want to make sure my lower back is really nice and loose, because if your lower back is tight, especially as you start getting older, I feel like that's one of the first things to sort of tighten, is it's going to cause coiling to be really, really tough. And also you're going to compensate in every other area to protect your lower back. Anytime that you think about you slept wrong and you woke up and your back feels tight that day, just picture how hard it is to do super normal tasks and what your body's doing to compensate the whole time. Amplify that because you're doing an athletic motion. So I think that is huge. Have a hard time getting a good brace. Most of the time that people struggle to hit their brace, I feel like it's because they're relying too much on the momentum of their run up versus like just throwing the disc. So I've got a video coming out next Tuesday that actually talks exactly about that, is how a lot of people disguise their distance with momentum from the run up, and that it can really draw away from other aspects of your game. So slow it down, feel that brace. I love Brad's words of the standstill, and even going standstill to a one step. Because it's really hard to blow through your brace. If you're blowing through your brace on a one step where your feet are together and you're just boom, that's what I mean by one step. Feet are together, and then I stride out with that one step and I throw. If you're blowing through your brace there, that's a form issue that we can definitely look at, because you aren't running through. But yeah, those would be my big things. And yeah,
can I
stretch lower
offer
back.
one more like piece of advice that I feel like really makes or breaks my mental, like my mental I don't know the word I'm trying to use, but basically like me trusting my body for the round is like that first tee shot. And I feel like if I have to do a first tee, if you're walking up to the course and your first tee shot's really demanding, it's like, oh, I've got to bomb this first tee shot. Maybe just don't do that. Maybe just play for the par or whatever you need to do on the first hole. Get some solid shots on the first hole versus like trying to bomb something out there. So I know if I have a good first like smooth drive off the tee, I'm like, okay, gonna be a good day. Everything's working like it should. Let's just keep playing disc golf. Versus like if I'm trying to think of a hole that makes me feel that way. I think really, I mean, like a Fallen Creek Yellow, like even though it's not super far, if I'm like, okay, I'm going to bomb this all the way down, I got to do it like super high hyzer to like crash in by the trees or whatever, and I like misstep or like I like misthrow, and like I catch myself and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a bad round, because then my next tee shot is yellow on hole 2 at Fallen Creek, which is a behemoth of a hole, right? So it's just like all downhill from there. So maybe just make a good choice on your first tee shot as well.
Yeah.
Choose confidence over score on the first hole.
For sure. And I think that like I talked about that round that we played last Thursday where it was like, okay, things are feeling good. I'm throwing far. That was a day that Lindsay got hung up coming home. I was watching Leo. Lindsay got hung up coming home. So I didn't get out of the house till like 15 minutes after I was planning on getting out of the house, which meant that I rolled up and everyone else was already on hole one's tee.
Yeah.
And I think you just have to have you either have to have the wherewithal to get there early to warm up and throw a couple shots and stay loose. Like I love to throw 2 or 3 putter shots, forehand and backhand, just to make sure that my first throws, like Brad said, are not full power rips.
Right.
Even if I have stretched, I want to make sure that my first throws are not full power rips. And so have the comfort of looking at your card mates and being like, hey guys, like I didn't ask them because it was about to storm, but I am comfortable enough with that crew of people that I could easily roll up and be like, hey, I need to throw a couple to get loose or else I'm going to feel this for the rest of the round and even after the round. So we're not all 20-year-olds anymore that can just roll out of the car and play 4 rounds.
Unless you are, then good for you.
And even if you are, you're going to be able to do that a lot longer by taking some proper routines. There's like half these cats on the Pro Tour, you don't realize that they are doing some stretches and things before their events and stuff like that. Like they're not just rolling up out of the car. Oh, hole one's a 500-foot backhand smash. Yeah, let me just do that. No, like they're getting loose and they're throwing into a net. So Ryan Dalfavero asks, been playing around 4 months and playing with a standstill right-hand backhand the entire time. Recently started pushing 330 to 350. Should I start learning how to X-step and run up, or is there no reason? Should I instead work on forehands?
Ooh. I'll say my opinion is if you're consistently and accurately hitting 330 and 350 from a standstill and you don't have a forehand, do work on the forehand. Like you don't need a whole lot there on the right hand backhand, especially if you're just playing casually. Yeah. All the X step's going to do is make you really frustrated for a while and like decrease your accuracy and probably your distance for a little bit anyway.
Yeah,
I'd say work on forehand for sure.
I think forehand's going to add more opportunity for your game, more scoring potential for your game than, like, let's say that you add the backhand and it goes smooth and perfect. Like you add the X step. Yes, there is a chance that you add the X step and you suddenly go from 330 to 350 to 450. Like that possibility exists. I'm not going to say it doesn't. It's low percentage, but it does exist. But how much does an extra 100 feet on your local courses, Ryan, how much does that help you versus, oh, the hole moves left to right. Now I don't have to throw a touch backhand turnover in order to get that. I can just throw a 200-something foot forehand out and around. I think that Brad nailed it. That forehand's going to open up. Not only is it going to open up more opportunities off the tee, but when you can scramble with a forehand, money.
Yeah.
So, I feel like this episode's making me. I picked these questions before I'd filmed all my next batch of videos, and it makes me feel really proud, Brad, that I touched a lot of notes because video next Thursday we have a sponsor spot on it, and so I'm really excited for the video because I've done a video on my channel that was if you can't throw 300 feet, here are like some things holding you back. This one is if you can't throw a forehand 250 feet, here are some things holding you back. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm packaging it because I think that video is really good. I'm very proud of it, but that's the video coming out, Ryan. So week from today, which is the 7th, so the 14th. And then last question is Chris curious about the in the bag that I had on my main channel. Talked about the ozone staying in the bag but possibly moving out due to less usability because of having to limit how hard I can throw it without rolling it. Later on, I mentioned that the Stitch Trail could be leaving the bag because it often pans right and never comes back. Talking about a certain run, right? When it comes to bag building, is there a world where that flippy trail essentially becomes a 10-speed ozone, or is it a Griffin disc situation? So, reality, I don't own Stitch Trail anymore because I threw it on a silly line in a tailwind, which made it way more overstable than I anticipated. So I threw it about 100 feet into someone's backyard, and it's gone forever. So RIP Stitch Trail. That was tough. And so do I think that you could have like an ozone in that higher slot? In my mind, that is a shot shape that I don't really lean on that often. If I have to have a turnover for that long period of time, personally, the understable version of that shot is really unreliable for me. So I would rather grab a neutral disc that I can force onto that angle.
Yeah.
Or I just want to throw a forehand.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So for me, that's not necessarily the case. For some people, if you don't have a big forehand, I could see that being necessary. So yes, I think that you can. We talk about it all the time. Brad's got it built in his bag. Like I think most people who have a well-rounded bag, you can see starting at their putters usually, or it's usually it doesn't have to be your putters. It's some shot that you fell in love with at a speed and you were like, that is it. I need that at all of my speed levels. So I threw the ozone and it was super flippy and a turnover. Awesome. What is my mid-range version of that? I have the soul. Awesome. And then I jump down I have the flip from Hooligan. And then I jump down and I have a polecat that does that turnover angle, right? Like you have that fascination, but you have to decide, do you want that at the upper ends? And for me, the ozone goes so far that like the jump from an 8 to a 10 isn't going to be that much. So it would probably have to be like an 11 or 12 speed. And once again, there it's like, what am I going to put in? Like a Thrasher and try to do that?
Yeah.
A Nuke SS, like it's an Avenger SS. An Avenger SS would still be too slow because that would be a 9 speed. So it's just not my bag. Brad, I know you have a forehand, but like I feel like your backhand does go farther than your forehand.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, and for you, is this something that you would consider if you have like that flippy fairway driver? Do you have a super flippy backhand turnover disc in your distance driver slot?
So I don't have a super flippy one. So I think I'm kind of the same way as you. Like, actually, on the 13th, we have that pizza round coming out. You'll see me throw the trail a lot in that because I need like a disc. Because if I'm going up to a distance driver, in my mind, I've got to put a little heat on that. And I don't want something super flippy in that spot. So like the trail, I might just like change the angle a little bit on it and let that turn because I can still hit it really hard and it has the integrity to just pan versus like roll. So I think I'm kind of in the same situation as you. In my like fairway slot, I'm going all the way down to my flippy like orange FD to do kind of a similar shot where I can give it ante, but it's or like hit it flat and it's going to turn, but hold and just keep turning. Same way down to my mid ranges, like my lobster does that, which is why I like the lobster. I can hit it hard and it will pan versus like trying to hit something easy and it flip. So I think the distance driver, I think it's a tough slot, which is why Chris has a question about it, because you almost have to pick one or the other, right? Like something that's going to, in my current disc golf game, in my form, I don't have the option to smooth something out 330, 40 feet and turn. I'm about to hit something hard that's going to like turn,
keep it there,
right? So
yeah,
I think I'm kind of in the same situation, to be honest with you. I would probably bump up to the 11 speed and find something and hit hard that will turn versus like throwing like a 9 speed that I know is like more touchy, or a 10 speed that's more touchy.
Yeah, that's such a good word. Yeah, I like even how you put it is so beautiful. I'm not going to smooth something to that distance.
I can't do that.
Yeah, and that's where I think people underestimate the beauty of an easy disc. Yeah, I'll give a shout out to someone who I think like does this subtly really well and has a ton of power that people don't realize. Bedanza. Mm-hmm. Bedanza throws far. He has great snap. He's got great form. And I love that Bedanza's signature disc is the Sphinx, which is like a -3-1 or something like that. Like it's an understable fairway driver, but he's throwing it and it's in an overstable plastic, so it like kind of neutralizes itself. Right. But what I love about how he chose that disc is he has the arm to absolutely obliterate. He can throw any disc out there. There is not a disc that he's going to throw that it's like, oh, I can't get this up to speed. Yeah. Because Anthony's the man. He can absolutely. He's better than most players will ever be, myself included. So he throws them really well, but he's chosen a disc that he can throw smooth. Mm-hmm. And so like he's getting easy 400 feet of distance out of it. And I think that there are some purists out there who are going to be like, well, it's silly. It's not real 400 because he threw it with a flippy fairway driver. Like, who cares? He's throwing an easy 400 so he can hit lines that he wants to. And it's not even that flippy, like, because he has it in certain plastics. So I just admire so much that choice of mold and things like that. And I think that people don't realize that part of why he's so much better than we are is because he has made that smart decision with that mold. Like it just love that guy. Mm-hmm. And I think I just think it's so genius. I can't even put into words how cool I think it is. So props to you, Anthony. But speaking of props, Brad, that's wrapping up our questions for the day. So people are going to be out there. They're going to be here and they're going to be like, hey, I'd like to throw some cool discs that I can throw to a nice, easy distance. Mm-hmm. What's new in the warehouse, sir?
Well, let's see. We've got a little bit of Discraft restock up. So we have Tour Series Luna, ESP Sagara. We do still have Fuse Scorch, speaking of easy distance. Those are in up as well. We still have a lot of cool colorways. And the Captain's Thrasher are also, they kind of got a little overshadowed last week, but those are up and ready. I am eagerly waiting in the warehouse. This is Thursday when we're filming this. I think our MVP restock will be here today.
Ooh.
And I'm talking, we have stuff releasing next week that was on pre-order, but I've got a bunch of stock stuff coming. I've got Turbulence, Trail, Turbulences, multiple. Anyway, yeah, Turbulence, Trail, Tempo, Balance, Detours, Envies, Proxies, Uplinks, like literally anything. We're pretty much gonna, I knock on wood, but I think we'll have every mold in stock by MVP. So if there's something you've been looking for that we don't have, I'm pretty sure I ordered it. I don't think there was anything on there that I didn't order, to be honest with you, that we didn't have already. So, but the big highlights are obviously like the Turbulence, the Balance, Trail, Detour, Envy, Proxy, the big boys. So I don't know. I will commit that we will have some Trails and some Turbulence and some Balance up. I just don't know how many or what plastic. So, and that is if they come in. So if you're listening to this and it's not on recently restocked, it didn't come in. But it shipped out on Monday, so that usually takes a couple days to get here. So it was large enough they had to freight it, so we'll see. Anyway, so we have that. We have the Lucid Jury came out this week from Dynamic. Honestly, I would call it the Envy of Dynamic, in my opinion. We also have the Discmania Neo Lumen Founder, new disc from Discmania, 5.6 -4.1. So definitely like a Paradox in my mind. I haven't feeling it kind of feels like a Paradox as well. So it might be interesting if you're a Discmania person and like need that ultra flippy mid range. Talking about touch, that might be the one for you. We also have Kristen Lott Huck Grand Grace, like a Huck Lab stamp Grand Grace, which went in your boy's bag immediately because I love the Grace. The Grace. Talking about the flight you fell in love with, mine was like that first like Eclipse Envy that I threw, which is that like disc that you can throw hard and straight but still has good fade. And so you can see that kind of like incrementally, like I have like the Envy, and then I have like the Hex, and then I have the Edug, and then I have the Grace. They're all kind of the same type of flight for me. So that one in there. Brody released a special zone on Tour Life. You can figure out what that is on your own if you're a Tour Life person. I'm not promoting it any more than that. It's like you can find it. That's just how I feel about it. So,
but that got posted in my Patreon. Nate shared it, and people were so confused that don't watch Tour Life, and they were like, "What is happening?"
Well, Brody also promoted it at minute or timestamp 3 hours and 25 minutes into the podcast. But I sent him some. He's going to have them this weekend. He's going to do promo. It's on me. I like kind of jumped the gun on promoting it because I just want them out of my warehouse, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, they're live. You can find them. He'll be promoting them like this week on his social media, and then he'll have some in hand for Tour Life next week. There's not a lot of them. We're not going to run them again, ever again. I said,
Did he order the costume that's on it?
Oh, I wish he didn't. Well, I guess I don't know that he didn't. I'm guessing
that would be fantastic promotion. Though,
yeah.
If he did that, I guarantee you that we sell out of those instantaneously.
Yeah, that's true. So, you have one on the way to you, Robbie. Just so you know.
I could not be more excited. That might be on the wall.
I was going to say, above, I don't know if I can never tell if it's Vegeta or Goku.
It's Vegeta, yeah.
Up above that, I think perfect spot right there. So right beside Bart to the board. So yeah, anyway, that's all, you know. By the way, I want to mention this as well.
That's so funny.
Really quick. So Hunter and I were talking about, like, we're always trying, all of us here are always trying to talk about, like, what's the best experience. Obviously, we have a role position. Jason's the head of customer experience and like internal experience too. But we've spent a lot of time talking, like, what's the best way to do things and whatever. So Hunter put out a poll this week, just kind of like asking why you shop with us. If you don't shop with us, why don't you? What are the things you like? What are things you don't like? Because we're always trying to take personal inventory on, like, how can we be better. I have like a 10-page document here on, like, the analytics from that. And I just want to say I really appreciate anyone who responded to that or gave feedback, because it was really valuable. And we're going to be making some cool changes behind the scenes that you'll see outwardly as well. But we're kind of like, what's the process behind the scenes for now? And we're going to have like kind of a special weekend, I think, kind of announcing these things and doing like a special weekend. So that's a little tease, maybe a little preemptive, but I just wanted to say to anybody that listens to this podcast that we genuinely really value that stuff. So anytime you see that pop up on social media, please take some time and answer it, because it's not like a, hey, make us feel good. It's like we really have like a lot. I mean, this is the paperwork here, like right beside me. And like, we really take inventory of that, and we do want to be better. We do want you to have a good experience. So we really value that. So I want to say thank you to anybody that took time to do that, because it is just great information to have as a business. And I love that we have fans / customers that take time and like care about us enough to give us feedback. So I just wanted to shout that out as well.
Dude, absolutely. We love our fans, and we love that you guys continue to allow us to do this as a career.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not subscribed, we're only 3 subscribers away from 2,000.
Actually 2, because I checked. I was checking when I did comments, and someone subscribed literally while we were recording this podcast.
We have 2. So if you're listening to this podcast right now and you're not subscribed on YouTube, please, I beggeth thee to just. It's a milestone for us, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back next week with another episode of In the Bag. But until then, if it's good,
keep it in the bag.
We'll see you next week.